Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. We are going to recap Super Bowl 52 as the Eagles get their first ever Super Bowl victory after a 41-33 win over the New England Patriots. It was a fantastic game. Lots of offense. Records were broken all over the place. And we're going to talk about it here. We've got a couple of good guests on the program as well. So let's get this recap started right about now.
I would feel better at this point taking the 3 points. I think it's a risk, and if you make it, it's great. But if you don't make it, it's a big momentum swing.
You have to against the Patriots, against Tom Brady. You know, they're well coached, obviously. You got to play for 60 minutes, and if you don't take those chances, you don't give yourself a chance to win this football game.
Touchdown.
What a play call by Doug Peterson. This play call has a chance to be remembered as one of the all-time greats, just going for it.
He's back again. He steps up. He's hit. He stumbles. He is throwing it deep for the end zone, and it is batted around. The play, and the game is over. The game is over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
There you go, people. There you go. A little sound from Super Bowl 52 that we pulled. A little Merrill Reese, a little Al Michaels for you as the Philadelphia Eagles win their first ever Super Bowl. Again, beating the Patriots 41-33. And we, again, are going to recap it right here on the Sports Talk Nation. One of my great special guests today joining us is a man that I've got acquainted with for a long time. Did a lot of shows with him on MTR. He is a big-time Eagles fan. And also, we did some work with the Jackals, and that is Sean Bretherick. Now, Sean, I'm going to welcome you in first here. This is your Super Bowl. This is your moment. This is your time. Tell us what is going through your mind right now.
Well, Mike, it's a lot of happiness. It's an unreal feeling. Living in a northern, sort of northern-ish part of New Jersey, it's a little bit weirder, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But I know a lot of friends of mine that they were watching the games a little south of me. I know a couple of people of mine that were in Philadelphia itself watching. To me, it was jubilation. It was, you were playing some of those bits before there. What Merrill Reese was calling it, honestly, to me, that's. I turned the radio on after the fact, and I think everybody was in the same. Everybody was in the same category as Merrill Reese when he made that final call. He called it. He wasn't excited. He didn't sound excited and crazy and everything until he said the game is over.
Yeah.
Because when he was saying that, he was saying it not to the people watching, but he was saying it to himself in a way of saying, this happened. This actually happened. It's the guy that's been the voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, the guy that brought me into sports, the guy is the voice who got me into sports in the first place, into the Eagles, into football, which then carried over into everything else, into what we're doing right now.
Absolutely. I mean,
that man, when I heard him talk about that, Mike, I lost it. I really did.
Wow.
I couldn't stand. I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet. When I was hearing him talk about it, I lost it at that point in time.
Before I welcome in my next guest, I just got to ask you this. As someone who's been an Eagle fan for your entire life, you've seen all the good, the bad, NFC Championship games that have been blown, so many opportunities to go to the Super Bowl, didn't get through. You get through, you lose to New England. And now this year just comes out of really nowhere. I mean, a lot of people started the season and said, "Oh, the Eagles, they're up and coming. I don't know if they're ready yet. 5 win. That was the kind of the attitude coming into the season. I don't know if they're ready yet. They're improved in a lot of regards, but I don't think anyone really thought they were going to be a playoff team, a serious playoff team, let alone win the Super Bowl. And then when they lose Wentz in December, everyone was like, forget about it. It's not going to happen. So for you, to kind of go through all those things that you went through as a fan, I mean, this has to be beyond nirvana right now. It really has to be.
Mike, I've lived through my life at least, and I'll be 100% honest with you. When I got into the Eagles, I didn't know where they were at the time, but I didn't realize it until it was right around, I would say, late December, early January of 2005 that I really started to watch. And I didn't know about the NFC Championship games in the past. I did not know about them. I watched film and tape and everything like that, all of these things where they come so close so many times. Then they were able to win it, and then they were able to win it that year when I started watching. It was after that I really never really tasted much of the success. It was 2005 was the first year that I really watched full on, and that year was obviously not a great year. It was McNabb was hurt at that point in time. The following year, McNabb did it happen again, and then he had the resurgence of Jeff Garcia, and then you had, of course, everything going on with 2007 and 08. You had Kevin Kolb coming around and into the fray, and with a second round pick, that wasn't a lot of fun. And then 08, they got back to the NFC title game. They lost to a team of destiny in that one, but the team of destiny didn't make it all the way back to the end there with the Cardinals. It goes on from there to the Michael Vick thing.
Woof, woof. Oh, sorry, that was a dog.
You got Nick Foles, and then the Chip Kelly stuff, and you thought that, and a lot of fans thought that it was going to take a few years, if not more than that, to rid themselves of that. And Doug Peterson's coming in here, and Howie Roseman has come in here, and they've righted the ship, and it's made its destination in 2 years.
Unbelievable ride. This is going to be kind of like a this is your life kind of moment right now, because joining me on the phone lines as well is one of your old co-hosts from Triple Coverage, and that is Mr. Feuerstein. Dan, you there?
Yes, I am here.
It's the fire.
Yes, it is. Congratulations, Sean. Very happy for you, and of course some of your friends are Eagles fans, and as you know, the nation is also happy that the Eagles did the deed. This isn't for us old timers, a Star Wars moment. It's kind of like one of those "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope" type of things, and it was proven once again to be true, because you got to give credit to Doug Peterson and his coaching staff and the players not only believing him in making these play calls, but of course, to have the confidence in Nick Foles to come out and play these huge playoff games, not just knocking out the Falcons, not just destroying the Vikings that would have hosted the Super Bowl. Now, we don't know if they would have done the job at home, but for now we'll say no. And seeing the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely coming into their own and going toe-to-toe with the New England Patriots. And let's be honest here, Michael, as well as Sean, that's the only way you're going to beat the New England Patriots. You cannot play scared when you're going for a Super Bowl championship. You have to go toe-to-toe. You got to punch him in the mouth, punch him in the stomach, in the gut. You're going to have to sweep the leg, Johnny, because that is the only way you are going to beat the New England Patriots. Yeah. Did the Eagles beat them? Absolutely. But we also have to say this as well, Michael. The Patriots beat themselves.
Yes, they did.
A little bit of it, because if Malcolm Butler would have taken a couple of snaps here and there on defense as their top corner, this probably could have been a different game.
Yeah.
Because Malcolm Butler, how is that possible? Your top corner is not playing a single down on defense to prevent a big-time catch and throw by Foles to his wide receivers. That's unbelievable.
It is, and I'll just jump into this here. You bring up some interesting points. One thing I will say is the fact that when you're playing the Patriots, especially over the last few years, with the way this offense has been designed here for New England, you have to stay in front. You have to be willing to go into that kind of game and have a shootout. And a lot of coaches are afraid to have to go into a shootout with New England because they know there's always the chance New England gets the ball back at the end of the game and they're going to lose. Atlanta played scared last year. We know what happened. We saw Pittsburgh play. We see Pittsburgh over the years play scared. They end up losing. We see it all the time. And that's why I love what Doug Peterson did yesterday. He was, you know what, screw it, I'm going for it. And he goes for it on 4th and 1. I'm thinking to myself, maybe he should go for the field goal. And you heard Merrill Reese even on the radio saying, I think they should go for the field goal, make it 18-12. Nope, they go for it. They pull out of the play right out of the sandlot right there, and with the touchdown to Nick Foles, who makes the catch, unlike some other quarterbacks who played in that game last night. I mean, that's just the kind of aggression I like. Sean, what did you think of that play right there?
Well, let me just take it back here for a second.
Sure.
Of course, we're talking. You're mentioning the trick play, I believe.
Yes.
But yeah, okay. Let's just take it back here for a second. Going in, and I made a mention of it myself to a lot of other fans. To be like, hey, we're going to go into this game, and whatever happens, we're gonna know that the Eagles are not going to be going into this game playing a different way than they have been all season long, which is aggressive. They've always played aggressive. I've seen it numerous amounts of times where you have a 4th and goal at the 1 yard line and the Eagles don't go for a field goal. They go for it. And they execute it so well. And I think it's a situation where I knew everybody was surprised that Doug Peterson made these calls and everything like that. I wasn't. And that's the reason, and you said it yourself. That's the reason why that they beat the Patriots. And I said before the game that the way that he coaches his aggressiveness all the way through a game is going to be the reason why the Eagles end up winning this game or losing this game. One way or another, and that's okay. It's you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and you don't change anything that you've done all through the year. Now, as far as the play is concerned, it's something that they definitely have never ran. That's for sure all year. Then again, they never run any of those end around runs with Nelson Aguilar. They didn't do that during the regular season either. So having that trick play just kind of sitting around there like that, I mean, you had to have those plays, hitting it around there, and it was a fantastic play because it's a play that only Doug Peterson would have the wobos, if you will, to run.
Absolutely.
And you could
Cojones.
say, yeah, well, that's marbles, wobbles, I don't know. Hey, whatever you want to call it. But you could say that maybe it's a little, maybe it's ignorance, maybe not, whatever you want to call it.
Youthful exuberance.
Maybe he doesn't realize that maybe this is not a good idea. Well, it's worked out enough times for him that year that why stop? And that's why I said that this is how he's going to win the game. If they win it, that's it. That's how it's going to go. So that was just a fantastic play. And I want to know, and the difference to me in that play between that and the Tom Brady one, was that it was a rushed throw because Amendola was going to get hit. And he threw it ahead of Brady. He was trying to lead Brady with a pass, and Brady, who doesn't catch the ball that often, I mean, it's not something that you're going to run in practice 2-3 times. You're going to maybe run it maybe once or twice, maybe if you think about running it. Where in the play with Nick Foles, and again, both guys are wide open. So Amendola had to throw this ball, and honestly, he threw it too far, in my opinion. I thought he threw it too far in the first place, and he did. Because it went off his fingertips, he had to reach out all the way, and Tom Brady's 6'5". And Nick Foles, to his credit, is about the same size. But when Trey Burton made this throw, he threw the ball, but he threw it right at Foles because there was nobody around him, and Nick Foles caught it straight up with the diamond, just catch it, back up, and reel it in. You're wide open. And the way that throw with the Patriots, because he tried to lead his receiver to try to get some more yards, not saying that that's the intention was, but because the way that he threw it, it was too far, and Brady had to run and reach out for it, and he's not the fastest fleet of foot, as we all know. That was the difference, and I don't know how that drive would have ended. All I know is that there wasn't a defensive penalty in that drive, so I would expect that they would not have scored. Because the only time that the Patriots did score, besides I think the one Gronkowski touchdown that they had, every touchdown that they've scored had something to do with an Eagles penalty extending the drive.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of ironic in a lot of ways. That every time
it was ironic. However, I did watch all those plays. I'll say this too. I did watch all the plays that the defensive holding. The one defensive holding on Gronkowski was, but I get it.
He likes to fake it, though. I mean, he likes to make it up a little bit himself.
It was a sell job, but the other two were warranted in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Jalen Mills. I think it was Jalen Mills for one, and Patrick Peterson was the other one. But those were warranted. The way that I saw them. So that was fine.
I'll say this, and Dan, I'll get you to jump into this too, but. I felt watching that game right from the start that the Patriots were right away in trouble. The fact that Philadelphia goes right down the field, 14 plays in the first drive in a little over 7 minutes, and the Patriots are getting blown off the football. And then I'm watching the Patriots make uncharacteristic mistakes, the missed field goal, which almost went in, and kind of looped around it in S, then went out again. And you mentioned the incompletion. We talked about that as well. There were just so many things that the Patriots did uncharacteristically, and the Eagles just had so much more poise in that first half, in the first 15 minutes, that really kind of set them up for the rest of the game, I felt. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, let me say this. I mean, how many times do you go to the well and, especially with the Patriots, they'll come back from this. They're successful enough. They know how to come back from these types of plays. But the truth of the matter is this, that even though they did come back, before coming back and after they came back, you felt maybe there was a sense of overconfidence from this Patriot team. Maybe you felt there was a sense of, well, we've done it before, we'll do it again. And even though they did it again, how much time was left on the clock? Because that, to my mind, was a signal of, wait a minute, maybe the Eagles do have an opportunity here. Maybe there is an opportunity for the Eagles to really, put a dent into the so-called dynasty of what the New England Patriots have been showing. Because the truth of the matter is this, is that when you saw the Eagles on the first drive of the game marching down the field the way they did, this is a whole different ball game now. When have you ever seen the New England Patriots in reality in a Super Bowl not playing, ready to go? Now, you could have just said, well, last year Atlanta proved it that, maybe they weren't ready. But the truth of the matter is Atlanta proved that they were overconfident themselves. And they assumed they had it in the bag.
Especially
when the Patriots started to come back, as soon as they got a touchdown, Atlanta didn't handle it properly.
No.
And Philadelphia handled it properly.
They stayed aggressive. They stayed aggressive. Right. Yeah, they stayed aggressive the entire game.
That's all it was. They stayed aggressive. They went out, and they did the job they had to do. And, of course, in a game where the defense was not doing enough for both sides.
And, the Eagles just smacked them in the mouth, Sean. The Eagles just smacked the Patriots in the mouth in this game. A lot of discussion about how would the Eagles do as far as the running game was concerned. And the Eagles made it a factor. They ran right downhill at the Patriots. LeGarrette Blount gashed them for 90 yards. That big touchdown was huge. I mean, we saw gaping holes in that Patriot run defense that we hadn't seen really all season, certainly since the first game of the year against Kansas City. So that, to me, was just another telltale sign of Philadelphia's dominance in that first half, was their ability to run the football, their ability to control the clock, and their ability to just stay calm and stay within themselves for really the entire football game.
And I think, the one thing that's going to surprise you guys and a lot that are listening, I think that the Eagles I don't think the Eagles found their running game all playoffs until last night. I really believe that. I think that the running game wasn't really there all that much. Yeah, I know the Blount touchdown. People were saying, they got to run the football. Look how well they did in the NFC Championship game. My response to that was simple. Okay, when did they get those yards? Because the last time I checked, they were doing a lot of throwing to get those points.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't doing a lot of running. They did the one I know about the one LeGarrette Blount touchdown. He ran over a guy at the 5. I know that. I get that whole thing. I watched it in my own eyes. But the running game for the most part wasn't really there. And in this game in particular, the Eagles' offensive line did a good job, and they sprang a couple of a few big runs. Mm-hmm. And that was the difference. And again, I'll say it once more with it. I said when the Eagles beat the Vikings, mm-hmm. I said it to everybody in my ear, anybody in my with the sound of my voice, that if when the Eagles go and play the Patriots, that they will not be the same as the teams that have played them before. Mm. The way that Doug Peterson, the way that this offense goes, they don't have a way to step off the brake, to put a foot on the brake or step off the gas. When they start a game, they put a damn brick on the accelerator and just drive it until they hit a brick wall. Mm-hmm. And if that brick wall comes, then it's so what? So what? The brick wall comes. Mm-hmm. But in other cases, the wall is not made of brick. It's made of something much more easier to drive through.
Yeah.
And that's what the Eagles were able to do.
Dan,
let me just throw this, though.
Throw it.
The keys but the keys to this game, Sean, and I think you'll agree with me on this, the 2 4th down calls that Peterson took advantage of, mm-hmm. the 2 touchdowns that were being reviewed, you prayed to God they wouldn't be overturned, and they weren't. And
they weren't going to overturn those.
Well, you don't know. I mean, these days, we don't know what a touchdown is these days.
Not in the Super Bowl. I didn't think they were going to get overturned.
Well, I hope not, because, that's still a big call no matter what you say or anyone else says. But also the big strip sack fumble.
Well,
the biggest turnover in the game that came at the back end of the 4th quarter mm-hmm. after the field goal was kicked to make it a 6-point lead, to remain a 6-point lead, or give it a 6-point lead at the time. And then here comes here come the Eagles, or should I say the touchdown that made the 6-point lead, and then of course the strip sack fumble that led to them getting a field goal, which was the right call. And basically a stupid thing the Patriots did was try another end around, and they had to start from their own 9-yard line. Well, they waste so much clock on that.
There was a lot of mistakes made by the Patriots, but I'll say you bring up the 2 controversial touchdowns. I think Sean, you think you're right. I think in that kind of stage, considering what the NFL had gone through this year with the touchdowns, you go back to the Austin Seferian-Jenkins touchdown against New England, the Calvin Benjamin touchdown against New England that was called back, the Jesse James touchdown. We can go, and even the touchdown the Giants had against the Eagles in Week 2, which I think was Sterling Shepard. You go back to all those touchdowns that were called back. If they had done that in the Super Bowl, we would I think the entire planet would have exploded. Seriously,
that's what that's my point, man. I mean, I think you look at it like this. I mean, the only one to me that I thought that probably should have gotten called back was the Clement touchdown. Mm-hmm. But my thought process was this: they must have saw the one angle that, by the way, NBC only showed once.
I know.
Which was the angle from not the back of the end zone, but from about like the 50-yard line, zooming into the sideline, the end line there, where you can actually see Corey Clement's spikes hit inbounds before his toes actually touch.
Mm-hmm. They actually showed that angle, Sean.
Only once.
They did it once, and then they decided not to do it
twice. No, they did it again. No, they showed it twice. They really did. You probably were out of the room at the time, but they showed both angles. The one side where it looked like he was out, just barely out, and the other where you said the spikes just touched where he was in. That was the angle they showed twice on both sides.
One thing I found very funny about that entire angle, who cares how many angles, times they showed whatever angle. I mean, whatever. But the thing that really struck me was how Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels kept harping about whether he had possession. But I don't think it was so much the question of possession, but whether his foot had touched out of bounds. And to me at that point, it's so close, just like a toenail, basically a toe on the out of bounds line. You have to give it to him. I mean, he has possession. The ball's moving around a little bit. I understand that, but he never drops the ball. Yeah, to me, you had to give him the touchdown there. You couldn't take it away.
You had to give him the
touchdown. I think at that point, they felt like Clement, who might honestly go down this year as one of the best. And I thought that I said it a lot too. Like he's like the best undrafted free agent available.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that Corey Clement, who comes out of a fantastic running program at the University of Wisconsin, the only reason he didn't you want to know why the only reason he didn't start his entire career there? Who was starting for him? The guy who has all of the rushing yard records in college football history as a career, Melvin Gordon.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, like no one realizes Corey Clement was his backup, and he was just as good to me anyway. And he's the third down guy that the Eagles have now as an offensive guy. To me, the X factor in that whole thing. And again, it's Mike. You were saying it exactly the way that I was thinking.
Sure.
Is what's the call on the field if it's obvious that if it seems pretty damn obvious that there is no catch. Mm-hmm. Like for example, we've talked enough about the Clement play. Mm-hmm. They called it a touchdown on the field, so they had to keep with it because it's like, well, shit. There's this one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's legal here.
My bad. I try to keep it off. But anyway, the one angle, you see the one angle, and then there's this angle. So it's like, you know what? Let's not have to worry about this being a deal. Mm-hmm. The referees, and I know that. Mm-hmm. The referees have had a big deal in a lot of these games, especially including New England. Mm-hmm. But in this game, I got to give Gene Steratore and his crew a lot of credit because let me tell you something. They called this game right down the middle.
Yes, they did. I agree.
They did. And they stayed out of the spotlight. They didn't overturn calls that was very close. Anything that were close, they left on the field. Mm-hmm. I give that man a lot of credit, Gene Steratore, and I will remember that man's name. And if any time comes up, I remember Gene Steratore. That man is a good referee.
And you know who else you have to give a lot of credit to?
Even though he gave the Dallas Cowboys a first down by using an index card once.
Okay, that's fine. But you know who you have to also
give
credit
to?
Who
you got to give credit
to? You got to give credit to Wrong Review Riveron because he did not tell the referees because once they go to review, it's out of the referee's hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to give Wrong Review Riveron. And I say this
I love that name.
with all due respect. I hate that, man. You're absolutely right.
Is his name Ron or Wrong?
No, Wrong, like as in
Al Riveron, yeah.
Wrong Review Riveron. His name is actually Alvaro Riveron. Oh. Yeah, but I call him Wrong Review. Because all the reviews
somewhere Ron Rivera's saying, I didn't officiate this game. What's going on?
But you know what else, Sean? You also have to give, and Michael and I are probably going to applaud this move because it was the stupidest move ever made by a certain team who made an example of a certain player they should never have done. Trading Jay Ajayi by the Miami Dolphins to the Eagles cemented the running game for the Eagles to get this Super Bowl. How stupid and dumb were the Dolphins, Michael, to allow him to go because they wanted to set an example because of the shenanigans that was going on inside, with the players and the Dolphins going on, whatever it was. They were on a losing streak. They were supposed to be the better team in the AFC this year. They were supposed to challenge the Patriots for the division this year. And they were absolutely an atrocious joke.
You know what? I mean, it was a bad year for Adam Gase. I mean, he's trying too hard to be the mini Belichick down there in Miami. He's trying to set examples like that. But
you know what, Gase? Sean needs to give Gase a call because he just basically handed the keys to the trophy case.
Look, I mean, he's certainly helped. He certainly helped throughout the course of the season, especially the second half of the year.
It was something. That's something else. I mean. When I heard about that, when I saw that they were getting that trade done, I'm like, that's it. My thought was like, that's all, really.
It's like cue the Christmas music, ding 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 ding.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, honestly, that was something else to have it. I mean, they were worried about the running game for a little while. but to me, it was something. It was something that I didn't really look back on all that much until you really mentioned it. And this is where I come up into this.
Sure,
you got to give, and I don't want to leave out names here because I know that they actually for this year brought in a new talent evaluator, if you will, in the front office staff. I just want to see if I can find that information.
Sure.
But I know it's Howie Roseman and his staff. When he got brought in, back in after literally getting kicked out of the job by Chip Kelly when Jeffrey Lurie gave him that full control. But Lurie stuck with Howie Roseman and brought back a guy that they know a whole lot about. To me, I think that was a big deal. For him to be able to get that opportunity again, and he made the best out of it. He was able to not only bring in a guy like Alshon Jeffrey, again, make a trade for a guy like J.J. Okay,
and bring back Nick Foles. Let's not forget that too.
And bringing in Nick Foles back, Doug Peterson was a big part of that too.
Yeah.
Even though he was on Kansas City last year, but he came back over to play with him the year after his contract went up.
I gotta say, I gotta say this though. I gotta say this about Nick.
Big deal. He's got to be the executive. He's going to be the executive. You're not even a football guy. Not even a football guy. He's just a money guy. Knows how to put everything together under the cap, and then they have the talent evaluator, and his name escapes me, and I apologize dearly to him right now because I know that he's done a fantastic job. In order to tell Howie all right, here's the guy that I want to get. Here's who we need to get. Now work it out. And that's how it worked.
I'll say this. We know that talent evaluator is not named Jay Reese. But
no.
And you don't have Ben McAdoo coaching that team either.
No, not at all. But I'll say this about Nick Foles. I mean, this guy. It's going to be a kind of interesting scenario here for the Eagles here moving forward because I know people already on Twitter are like, oh, quarterback controversy. I don't see that. I mean, you got Foles for one more year. He's got $7 million. They could trade him. They're going to get a lot. They could get a bounty of picks for this guy. Considering what just happened here, he's MVP of Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. But my thing is this, and I've been hearing it all over the Eagles radio. Number one thing is Nick Foles is still under contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, and his answer to the question, which, by the way, at that point in time after a Super Bowl, I mean, who in the blue hell, like who in the world does that reporter think they are? I mean, I don't think that probably didn't even think about it when they asked the question. And I get that, and you'd like to get a jump on that, but seriously, that's not something that anybody cares about. Doug Peterson in the nicest way possible decided to really kind of deflect the question, and not saying that he didn't commit to Carson Wentz. He just didn't want it. It was a nice way of saying, I don't want to answer that damn question. I don't want to answer that clown question, bro.
Huh.
Okay, if I'll pull a Bryce Harper for a second. But really, but again, the other thing is that Nick Foles has said it publicly that he understands his role with this team. As he's still under contract with this team, he knows that he is the number 2 quarterback to Carson Wentz. And honestly, the Philadelphia Eagles, if they feel like they can get a king's ransom for Nick Foles, okay, fine. But my thing is, I think that you have to evaluate where Carson Wentz is recovery-wise. You have to see if he is definitely going to be 100% brand new, and everything like that for week 1. If not, do not trade Nick Foles because you're going to need him.
All right, you know what, folks? Here we go. Dan, I'm gonna be the Russian agent. You can be Mike McCagnon. Give him the money. Give him whatever he wants.
That Russian accent didn't sound good.
No, it didn't sound good at all. Give him whatever he wants.
All right, sure thing, boss. No.
Oh man.
But I'll tell you though, Michael. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the Patriots did not play the way we normally see them play.
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles did not play the way you thought that a team that is winning the game, they lost the lead, but they came back to retake the lead. They never coughed it up. They came from behind as well. They didn't make, they weren't overconfident in throwing the same play again and again and again. They really mixed and matched very well, the Eagles. Because as everyone knows, when the Seahawks are trying to go back-to-back for the first time ever since the Patriots did it a long time ago,
mm-hmm.
That same slant throw, the Patriot player, they knew it was coming. They felt it was coming. It was going to happen again. What happened at the end of the half to tie the game up at 14-all, that play was called at the end of the game, and sadly, the Patriots sniffed it out.
Mm.
The Atlanta Falcons, last year's Super Bowl, they had a tremendous lead on the Patriots. Right. They played 3.5 quarters. That final half of the fourth quarter doomed the Falcons, which is now known as the Arthur Blank curse,
mm-hmm.
going to the field too early.
Good job, Jeff Lurie. Good job staying in that booth.
That's right.
You guys saw him at the end of the game. Bradley Cooper's going next to him, and he's like, simmer down, everybody, simmer down. Don't get excited.
Yeah, because he's watched too many of these Super Bowls.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
That's why he's a smart man. That's why you have a smart owner, Sean.
Mm-hmm. Everybody that was on that Eagles sideline have watched, well, with the exception of Fletcher Cox, because apparently he doesn't watch Super Bowls.
Right.
But that one was new to me.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously though, you look at how all these guys just kind of they know how this worked.
That's right.
They know how this oh man, we know how this is going to go. Let's rewrite Let's rewrite this chapter, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But let me just say, I have a question for Mr. Bretherick.
Sure thing.
Because we all know he lives in White House Station
mm-hmm.
in New Jersey. Did you celebrate responsibly, Sean?
Of course I did.
I just want to make sure.
Of course I did. It was not. It was.
You weren't trying to find a hotel awning and jump on top.
No. I don't associate myself with the Eagles fans that actually live in Philadelphia.
You didn't try to shoot flares from the backyard in someone else's house?
No, I don't associate with the people of Philadelphia. I just like the football team.
Yeah.
We've gone over this a few different times, Dan.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That will be
because you're a good, clean-cut kid, and I like you very much.
In 10 years, folks, that'll be Dan trashing New York City when the Jets win a Super Bowl.
Hell no!
I'm kidding.
I know.
Hell, New York City wouldn't do that.
Of course not.
Well, of course not. Absolutely not. There's no way that would happen in New York City these days.
I think. Well, the thing is, I think New York has won enough championships. We've won enough championships in New York that we can, and lost for that matter.
Yes.
We can handle it.
We can handle it.
Absolutely,
we can handle it. I'll say this regarding the Patriots, and again, I'm not going to take away all the great things they've done over the last 17 years, and
I will.
Okay, fine, but all the great things they've done over the last 17 years, winning all these championships, winning Super Bowls, winning conference titles. It looks like that perhaps the luster, and this has been a point of conversation for a while now, that the luster's coming off. But perhaps yesterday, considering the events the way they played out, the calls that didn't go their way that in the past have gone their way, and the way the game kind of eerily was cryptic with the fumble, kind of not totally, but kind of like the tuck rule in a lot of ways because Brady's arm was going forward and all that stuff. It just to me felt like it was perhaps finally the end of that run.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. They could end up I probably have said this 1,000 times already, and I probably said it after the Jets beat them in a divisional game. I probably said it after Denver beat them in an AFC Championship game about 3-4 years ago. But yesterday just kind of felt like the conclusion of their run. We'll see. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it felt like to me.
You know, you're not gonna get that. You won't get that out of me because because Tom Brady. You know, as long as that division
Stinks.
Is there for the taking for New England. People are going to say that they're going to be the team to beat. However, I do think that next season that there are going to be teams that are going to be a lot better than New England because, people are seeing that, this defense is not – it's going to be hard for them to really revamp this defense. But I got a couple of nice little things for you guys. So first things first, let's start off with a very happy story. A little bit of a sad story with a happy ending.
Sure thing.
John Dorenbos. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I do not.
Okay, well, he was on America's Got Talent.
Okay.
As a magician, and he made it very far. He was also the long snapper for many years, about a good 10 years plus for the Philadelphia Eagles. He got traded in August to the Saints, playing for 11 years in Philadelphia. The Saints doctors, he apparently discovered an aortic aneurysm, okay, which ended John's career, but it voided the trade and it saved his life. Jaron Boss never played for the Saints, and technically he was still an Eagle at that time. Jeffrey Lurie has informed him, and he was at the ceremony holding the Vince Lombardi trophy, that he will be getting a ring.
Whoa.
And I think that for John Dorenbos, who, by the way, is probably one of my favorites as far as an Eagle is concerned, just the guy. I know he was a long snapper, but I mean, I liked him he is a character. He's got that enthusiasm, that charisma, that really is addictive to a football fan. Like, I like this guy, and it's a divine intervention. It's a bit, it's a little, if you don't want to have it have to happen that way, but still, there's that. Now, this is an unconfirmed report, but it was from a decent news source, NJ.com.
Thank you.
Decently.
Fake news.
So we know that Matt Patricia is on his way to Detroit.
Right.
Yeah, he's there already.
I had weird assumptions, and I didn't think it would be true. But then NJ.com pulls this story out. And now, for whatever reason, my weird assumption, could you imagine if this or that happened?
What's this or that? What is this or that?
It looks like the Patriots have themselves a new defensive coordinator, boys.
Uh-oh.
Isn't that their linebacker coach? I forgot the guy's name.
It doesn't seem like that would be it.
Who is it?
From what NJ.com is reporting, Ohio State defensive coordinator.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, it's Rutgers, isn't it?
Head football coach Greg Schiano will join Bill Belichick as the Patriots' new defensive coordinator.
Well,
Michael, the first hint was, Sean's a big Rutgers guy.
I know that, but I never thought Greg Schiano. I guess this means Greg Schiano can show Bill Belichick how he does handshakes after the game is over.
Oh, no.
But
here's Schiano's way back into the NFL.
Oh yes, he's good. The next head coach of the New York Jets, Greg Schiano. Oh no.
Well, I don't know if we can have that here. But.
And trust me, there was no. Hey, I'll tell you what. I was surprised. I was so happy for the first time in my life. Was so happy that a Rutgers alumni fell on his face. Just so happy when he fell on his face. And I'm talking about Devin McCourty covering Zach Ertz. When he fell on his face and Zach Ertz was able to score the touchdown. And there was no question about that damn thing, and they still had to review it for some reason.
There's no question.
Because the ball never actually hit the ground. The ball popped up. and he caught it anyway. Again,
Right.
He caught it twice, basically. It's like scoring twice in overtime.
Well, he made a football move too, and he made a football move, then dove for the end zone, got over the plane. I mean, right there.
Yeah, that was a little more obvious. That was a little more obvious than what happened with Des Bryant or maybe Jesse James.
Jesse James,
mind you, with Jesse James, there was a shot from the outer camera that there was only one hand on the ball, the other hand was up in his face mask, and the ball was on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, I didn't think it was a catch myself when I saw the camera, when I saw the other camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that that's not exactly a
still.
Okay.
I personally thought that was a touchdown.
And I have a good one for you again, guys. I'm sorry.
Here we go. Go ahead.
So the New England Patriots just posted this a minute ago.
What, Greg Schiano's announcement?
No. They just it was a picture of Gillette Stadium in the dark, and it was with one quote: "Home." Hashtag on to 2018.
Okay.
All right.
Very, very.
Aren't we all?
It was like, wow, did Bill Belichick learn how to tweet?
Maybe. I hope not. That would be quite uninteresting. That would be like the most boring Twitter account ever.
Oh.
I'm not going to answer your questions. Hashtag not answering. Hashtag we're on to Cincinnati. Hashtag we're on to
Cincinnati.
It would be the most uninteresting Twitter page ever.
Yeah. So again, if that report is correct, and that was sent in by Ryan Dunleavy, who does a lot of reporting through the Rutgers football program. So we'll see. But mind you, those other guys, those Rutgers alumni, all of those guys, Harmon and McCourty, all of which already have 2 rings. So you know what?
Well, you know what? Hey, look,
you can wait a year if you want.
Greg Schiano's now positioned himself to be the heir apparent to Bill Belichick, potentially.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
there's his foot in the door back into the NFL, and I bet that Bill Belichick. I bet that he's going. The Greg Schiano is going to end up playing with his old Rutgers players up in. Well, he doesn't have any more of them now because they're all gone. But
Dan, aren't you glad that I don't have the Rutgers theme song right now?
No, you don't need that. It's okay. We haven't done.
I'm waiting for it, Michael. I'm expecting.
No, I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it.
Okay, you're not. Okay, good. Then, yes.
I will say this.
I don't want to because we haven't done anything notable in 3-4 years. It's been quiet times. Trust me.
It has been, but let's just wrap this up here. And I will say this. I just find the whole thing from a Patriot perspective ironic. I mean, going back to the calls that were made last night that I thought were the right calls. I thought the Ertz touchdown was correct. I thought the touchdown to I forgot his name, the running back Clement was good. Thank you very much. I thought that was the right call, and it was just kind of like the football gods saying to the Patriots, "You ain't getting away this time."
That's right.
Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen at all.
We're not. This is a Super Bowl.
I know, but it just. I'm just saying. It just felt that way.
It hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. Where a bad call, in my opinion, has actually made the decision of a Super Bowl.
And thankfully, it didn't.
And again, it's one of those things where I really do think that Goodell actually does say this.
Mm-hmm.
He tells his referees, hey, you're going out there, and if you got something that's close, you stick with the damn call on the field.
That's right.
One way or another, whether it was a good call or it was a bad call, unless it was 100% obvious, stay with the call on the field, and that's what they did.
Let's go with the closing monologues here. Mr. Feuerstein's Fire, I'm going to go to you for your closing monologue on this Super Bowl and on this season. Go ahead.
Well, let me say this about the Super Bowl. This was probably one of the better Super Bowls we've seen in a very, very long time. Both sides were basically challenging each other on offense. When one team had to make the defensive play of the night, the Eagles made it better than the Patriots. The rest of the country is happy that the Patriots did not win. And I think what we're seeing right now, I don't know if there will be a real shift of power or at least a shift in the NFL as we end the 2018 season, which I think the 2018 season did have some solid moments. We've had some great moments. We've had some poor controversy moments. We've had some moments where you question play calling, you question fans, you question celebrations. But at the end of the day, one city finally gets that long-awaited Super Bowl championship, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles, as they finally do the deed that the New York Giants did twice. They beat the Patriots, and they punched them in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And even though they staggered enough, they finally fell down when they did in the quarter that they usually play the best in. The Patriots got socked in the mouth in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sean, you go right ahead.
The one quote to me that just comes into play. Jason Kelce on the sideline said it after he did a nice little, really. But this is how it is, and I'm going to do it like this. It's not about how hard it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. That was a quote, of course, from Mr. Sylvester Stallone from Rocky Balboa 2006. Resaid word for word without a hesitation by Jason Kelce on the field after the Eagles won their very first Super Bowl. I leave it at that.
Nice.
And that's exactly what the Eagles did. They kept getting hit and kept moving forward, taking all these injuries, Wentz, Peters, Maragos, you name it. That's what they done.
That is awesome. All right, so I'm going to say this. I agree with you, Dan and Sean. That was one of the better Super Bowls that we have seen in quite some time. It was one of the more exciting Super Bowls we've seen with the amount of points we saw scored. We had records broken as far as total yards, passing yards in the game, everything that you could think of. And it was just a game that was just totally nonstop from start to finish. It never slowed down at all, and that's what made that Super Bowl fascinating to watch. I will say this: it was a good conclusion to what had been a really, really bad year for the NFL. I mean, it really was, from the national anthem protests to all the problems with the bad officiating, controversies, poor coaching we saw throughout the league. I thought that this postseason was interesting. I thought, especially
a breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air is the way to say it. Absolutely. Starting from the divisional round, going with the way the Jaguars upset Pittsburgh. Jacksonville getting back into the postseason, having a nice little run there. You see Philadelphia obviously going all the way to a Super Bowl and winning for that city for the first time in 58 years, winning its first Super Bowl ever. It just was a nice ending to what was a rough season, and I think the NFL took some steps last night, with some of the patriotism to try to move forward. I think that the NFL needs to try to move forward from what happened this year, learn from what happened this year. They're going to fix a lot of the problems, and hopefully next year they can get back to being that great, being one of the top sports in the league, in the country. They still are, but they did come down a few rungs a little bit. I think next year is going to be a big year for them. I'm happy for the city of Philadelphia. I'm happy for the fans down there. I know that some fans have taken matters into their own hands a little bit last night, but let's be honest. Let the fans enjoy it. And it's far. Let me just say this. We mentioned before that the Eagles being the first team since the Giants to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of Giant fans got upset over the idea that they couldn't be the only team to beat the Patriots in a Super Bowl. You know what? You're a Giant fan. You have 4 Super Bowls. You've won all those titles. You have 2 of the greatest Super Bowls ever played, Super Bowl 25 and Super Bowl 42 in your back pocket. Let the Eagle fan enjoy one. You survived with the Cowboys. They won 5. You survived with the Redskins. They won 3 in the 80s. You can survive the Philadelphia Eagles enjoying one. You know what? Why not? Because the Eagles, it's been a long time coming, and they deserved it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yep, absolutely.
Take that, Giant fans! No.
I ain't gonna be. You won't catch me saying that. No way. I have way too many friends of mine that are Giants fans that I watched the Giants beat the Patriots and was really happy for them and everything like that. And that's the only thing is it's called paying it forward. And I'm glad I got the same calls from the same fans last night after the Eagles won. So it was nice to get that back and. Here's to some good seasons ahead for everybody. Football is good, and we need to make and it needs to be better. And hopefully, eventually it'll be great once more.
Mm-hmm. Bring on baseball.
See what happens.
Let's bring on baseball. Yay!
Fantastic.
Thank God.
Oh, lovely.
Thank goodness. All right, guys. I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. Kind of short notice for that matter, but you know what? Why not? It's the Super Bowl. Come here and talk about it. We want to thank you guys for coming on.
No problem at all, Michael. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Dan. Great to talk to you as always, too, bud.
All right.
Yep.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
All right, folks, that was Sean Bretherick and Dan Feuerstein. Remember, folks, to follow us on the social media at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram. And remember, like and subscribe right here on the Sports Talk Nation.